Let me pull up some slides.
I remember when we used to do PowerPoint free zones, huh?
Yeah. This is not one of those places. This is not a PowerPoint free zone. We got to have some PowerPoint. You can see we have a whole lot of names listed there now because our crew, our squad, whatever you want to call us, had to get a little bit bigger so that we had more coverage. Oh, this is sideways.
There is there's a lot there's a good team that just is constantly sharing ideas. So we wanted to make sure everybody kind of saw some of their names. Max, Amy, Darren, Lindsay. So they're constantly sharing incredible ideas, thoughts, and then it's kind of fun, right? It's kind of fun figuring out which topics we're going to talk about, which topics we're not going to get to talk about, and hopefully you guys enjoy what we set up for today.
Yep. All right. So, as you heard, our topic is going to be Copilot Create. In light of that, I decided to have some fun. This is what happens when Heather's not here, y'all. Okay. My style is I just think of a theme or I think of something and I just run with it. And that's what happened. So, cave drawings. That was what I came up with, cave drawings. Because I was thinking about how people used to create stuff and how it's different from how we can create stuff today. I know it's kind of silly. Heather likes to do some fun facts, and so I did some fun facts. Like, what are some of the oldest illustrations? Like, how did this used to happen? Like, what did people do? And some of these dates, I'm like, oh wow, these are pretty wild. 73,000 years ago, there was a doodle. Somebody scribbled something on a wall and it was red. I looked up a picture of it. It's really difficult to tell that it was actually a drawing. It just looked like some lines, but I guess they determined that those lines were intentional. They were not accidental. They had to have been man-made. We've got some scenery, a picture story with some pigs in it. I thought that was pretty funny. More pigs. Apparently, humanity likes to draw pigs. Some hand stencils, which I thought was interesting. I looked into this a little bit more. Around, they did like a negative of their hand, like with some sort of spray. And that was like something that they used to sign something or to identify themselves as like, yep, that's mine, or I did that, or whatever. I thought that was that was pretty cool. Um, and I just kind of, again, the contrast I thought was really kind of interesting of, we were doing cave drawings and handprint signatures. And now we're just going to describe something crazy and we're going to get a picture of it. And we're going to do it together, hopefully today. All of you will hopefully follow along with us. So, fun fact, fun history. Another fun fact, I used the new PowerPoint agent using the Anthropic model to generate this slide. So I thought that was a fun little exercise. Uh, all right. Heather made some imagery too, so we mixed in some of her images. She has her style. I like the 3D printer there in the background. You can't see mine right now, but it's back there. I like to 3D print stuff. Carlos, why are people here? We always do this reminder every single time, just in case somebody's new. Why are you here? Carlos is here to be on mute.
The mute button strikes again. Oh my God! Come on, Carlos, you're better than this. Um, so the purpose of Club Copilot is really all about you. We wanted to create a community. There's lots of communities out there, but we wanted to create a community, an opportunity for you guys to ask some questions. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. There's another session that's going to have specifically around asking questions coming up in about 2 weeks. But we also wanted to give you guys kind of a space where you can get up to speed as fast as possible on some of the latest, greatest, what's new, what's coming, and then some things that we think are definitely going to be a little bit impactful. It's all focused on end user. We don't normally talk about the IT side of the house. We can maybe answer some questions around that, but this is really focused on uh, those end users that are really in the weeds, making things happen, using these tools every single day. So we focus on news, on updates, on any type of new feature sets that might come up. But this is not heavy technical support. This is not help desk. Please refer back to your current help desk in your organization if you do have any of those questions. Is there anything that we can at least try to answer? We'll try our absolute best. But I just wanted to set the tone in there, and then we can listen and learn. So back to you, Dwayne.
Yep. Quick recap. We talked about caroling in December. It was the Caroling Club, and it was a rapid fire recap of Microsoft Ignite. I unfortunately didn't get to come to that one, but Carlos was here. I think Darren was here. Lindsay was here, and talked about all the news that came out of Microsoft Ignite. If you missed that one and you want like a lightning fast recap of Ignite, check out the YouTube channel where Miss Heather grabs the recording, puts it up there for you. Some convenient links there for you as well if you want to grab our blogs. And, you know, those are some good places to keep up with what's new and what's going on.
Dwayne,
Uh,
we also added the M365 roadmap link in there.
mhm.
There's, I swear, like every day, either I'm missing stuff like Amy or Dwayne or somebody's constantly texting me and saying, "Hey, check this out!" Like cool things that are coming from a roadmap perspective. So definitely pay attention to that one. And then, per popular request, a lot of people kind of wanted some of our slides, right? So we PDF'd everything that we spoke about in December, and we put it there. There's an AKA link there called Club Copilot December. We are also doing the same thing for today's call as well, and we will try our best to continue it going. So just want to make sure everybody knew that you can get some of the presentation materials from last month if you don't have time to listen to the recording.
I got another roadmap for you, Carlos. I don't
I
know.
was holding one back, but sure, go ahead. So
Did you know that there is a roadmap specifically for Copilot chat?
I did not.
I just dropped it in the chat for you. So for those of you, it's a little you know, there's a few flavors of Copilot. So Copilot chat, everybody has. There's a roadmap for that. And so you can pay attention to things that are coming, things that are being worked on. It's divided into nice little categories. You can go around on the top to pivot through those different categories and see features that are related to that and their status. So yet another
Mine was
roadmap to add to the list.
mine was a feature. Was a feature. I don't want to get anybody too excited. I am a hardcore Edge person. Don't get me wrong. I can use Safari. I can use Chrome. I like Edge, guys. I really like Edge. Everybody has their personal preference. I get it. But I'm going to give credit to Miss Amy Bandy Taylor. We were in a customer conversation this morning, and she dropped a nice link there for me. Apparently, there's an extension. There's a Copilot extension coming for Chrome. So I'm pretty pumped about that one. Don't get too excited. I'm not sure what it's going to do, but it's a start. It's a start.
We have kind of accidentally, naturally transitioned into the next phase of the presentation, which is what's new. So we always like to make sure that folks stay up to date with what's going on. So I have handpicked 5 features that are coming later, or some of them are actually out now, so that everybody knows what's up and what's going on. And Carlos, I need to tell you something. I have been addicted, uh, not just to whiskey, but to GPT 5.2 thinking deeper mode. Uh, I I have been using the heck out of that. And I have really been enjoying what it comes up with, and how helpful it has been. I'm actually going to use some of the stuff that I got from it in today's demo for Create. But GPT 5.2 launched, and on launch day, when OpenAI released it, it became available in Copilot. And I don't know if anybody's counting, but we're 2 for 2 on doing that. So the same thing happened for GPT 5, and it is pretty powerful. It also has a much more recent knowledge cutoff. So it's August of 2025. So pretty up to date internal knowledge set that the large language model has. It has the same ability for you to move back and forth between a quick response or thinking deeper, which is going to do a little bit more reasoning. So you have that in what they call the model selector, so you can pivot back and forth between the two. Really powerful. I I pretty much only use that now, if I'm being honest, unless I like launch Copilot and forget to hit the button. But I've gotten myself in the habit of just going straight up to the top and clicking under more. You'll see in the screenshot here, the top right hand corner, there's an auto mode. So this is also relatively new, where you can choose GPT-5 quick response or think deeper. And if you go under where it says more and expand the little flyout menu, you can do the same thing for GPT 5.2. Um, my best buddy Joe Gasper at UF gave a quick demo side by side of asking GPT-5 to produce an Excel file, and then asking 5.2 to produce an Excel file with the same prompt. And 5.2 had a much more sophisticated output with formulas in the Excel document that it created, not just like, words in a table. It was pretty sweet. So very, very excited about this one. All right, moving on. Agent mode in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint is being worked on. It's rolling out first over in Microsoft Excel. And Excel has a pretty interesting trick. Well, let me back up before I get to that. What is agent mode, you may ask? Well, it's not an agent. Despite being called agent mode, it's not an agent. It's a mode that you can put Copilot in the Office application. So the workflow would be double click on your Excel workbook, open it up, hit the Copilot button, and from there, you can ask questions about your workbook, right? But you can't actually ask Copilot to make a change to the workbook without in Excel going into app skills. Agent mode will be something you can access from a little tiny menu. I call it a shish kebab. It's like two little sticks with meatballs on it. And it's a tools menu. And you click the tools menu, and agent mode frontier should be listed there under we're going to make that a thing, Carlos. Shish kebab menu. Okay. Remember that one. Um, we're going to roll with it. So once you get into agent mode, well, now you can ask it questions about the file, but you can also ask it to perform changes to the file. So naturally, you could say, hey, take a look at what's in column J and compare it to what's in column A and make me a whatever out of it and insert it into column F. And it could do those things and actually make those changes to the workbook. So this is a natural way, I think, of using Copilot. Like, I don't necessarily just want to ask questions. I probably want to do stuff to the file as well.
I mean, this
Um,
is this is where I'm going to get myself a little bit in trouble here, and
oh, of
because
course.
we talk about this kind of stuff, and everybody gets excited, and then they go and they test it out, and they don't have it. So, can you just dive a little bit deeper into this, because agent mode is part, at least my understanding, is part of the Frontier program. This is something that needs to be turned on by your admin. Not trying to get way too technical, but just know your organization has to turn something on specifically in order for some of these features to come. And if they've turned it on, there's a little bit of a rollout, right? So I know I'm excited about it. We're spoiled because we tend to get things a little bit too fast. But I wanted to make sure people knew that it was in the process, right? This is something that's rolling out. If you don't see it now, it could be coming, or we just maybe want to make sure that you have the Frontier, you're part of the Frontier program. They have those Frontier apps features turned on.
Yep. So I'm gonna grab a screenshot real quick of my test user so everybody can see shish kebab and agent mode. I'll drop it in the chat and notice it no longer says Frontier on it. That's interesting, Carlos, because this baby's going GA. It's going to be available for everybody. It's pretty cool. So it should lower the barrier to entry, if you will, for folks getting to it. It is hitting Excel first, and it is rolling out, and so not everybody's going to be able to go right now and go click and find it. So give it some time, like Carlos was saying. Now the other ones, Word and PowerPoint, those are trailing behind. Excel's the first one, so just give those a little bit more time to come out.
And,
There's a little
and
note. Sorry, go ahead.
you have in there, I just want to make sure you cover, you can use OpenAI and Anthropic. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because normally we do like Word and PowerPoint type stuff first. And I thought this was interesting that they went with Excel first, just because there's so much power with OpenAI and Anthropic, those models specifically around specific type of data sets, right? So I am very excited about the PowerPoint aspect of things with agent mode, but what exactly am I going to be able to choose the model? Am I going to be able? What is it exactly I'm going to be able to do there?
Yeah, there's a term that's been floating around a little bit in some of our marketing called model choice. And I think that it's important to reframe that Copilot is not an AI model, right? Copilot is a framework with access to AI models. We're already offering a multitude of models in various ways from OpenAI. So, researcher, we just talked about GPT-5 and 5.2. The reasoning models, image models, all kinds of models in all kinds of different places. Well, Anthropic makes good models too. And so you'll see there in that second bullet point, it's saying that agent mode in Excel will allow the user to decide, hey, do I want to use OpenAI or do I want to use Anthropic's Sonnet to look at this? So you'll have that choice in Excel, in agent mode in Excel, and I can grab a screenshot of that as well, I think. So let me try to do that real fast since Carlos put me on the spot. Sorry, it's not Sonnet, it's Opus. So I'll grab a screenshot for everybody and throw that in the chat.
I believe it's Opus. Oh, don't quote me on this. I want to say it's 4.5.
I mean,
Not
if you
sure.
looked at my screenshot in the chat and then said 4.5, I don't know. I'll give it to you because I can't confirm, but I feel that's like what just
I
happened.
did not look. I swear I was going off my memory, but sure.
Yeah. But you're right, and you're gonna see that in other places. So we'll talk about that. I'll just go to that slide next and then I'll rewind. We'll skip back to slide 8. So Anthropic being another company that makes large language models, and hopefully everyone here is familiar with something called enterprise data protection. That's a big deal to us. We would say that Copilot is secure by default. It's already embedded in Azure. We've already got everything nice and tidy so that users can use it, and we have a commitment, guarantees around how it works. Well, that was easy with OpenAI. But then we buddied up with Anthropic to make their models available. So they were onboarded into what is known as a sub processor. So legally, they are a part of our enterprise data protection. Customers do not need to go sign their own agreement with Anthropic to use the models via Copilot. You are covered by the agreement that you already have with Microsoft. And as of January 7th, they officially became onboarded as a sub processor, and we are gradually rolling out a change that will light up quote unquote light up the green check mark for use with Anthropic's models. And so a couple of places that you will see model choice, the researcher agent. So Anthropic has deep reasoning models, and so you can try Claude over in the researcher agent. You'll see it like I just showed in the screenshot that agent mode in Excel offers model choice with OpenAI or Anthropic. There are some new agents coming that I have a slide about that I'll show you in just a second that use Anthropic's models. And also over in Copilot Studio. So if you build a agent in Copilot Studio, you can pick from Anthropic models now for that agent. So lots of places where it's coming up. And I think it's cool. I think everybody should be able to choose what they feel like works best for what's going on with their particular document or project, whatever it is. Uh, Screenshot there is showing the admin portal. Normally, we kind of said this at the beginning, but Club Copilot is really user focused. We don't want to get too technical. But if I do have admins here, there is a new admin control around AI services that are sub-processors, and you can turn it on. We have said here that we will start turning it on automatically January 7th. And as with most Microsoft rollouts, it takes a little while, right? So I saw earlier in the chat, folks were kind of chatting about it. If it hasn't been turned on for you automatically yet, it will be turned on eventually at some point as this rollout proceeds. Backing up a notch, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint agents. So we talked about agent mode. That's a
Yep.
mode you would go into while you're in the Office apps via the shish kebab menu. However, there are dedicated agents rolling out. These are in Frontier right now, where you could talk to an agent with the intention of that agent resulting in a file that matches that file type. So you would talk to the Word agent about producing a Word document, Excel, and PowerPoint. I've been playing with the PowerPoint one quite a bit. It's a lot of fun. I actually just made a deck like earlier. I think it's still running, if I'm being honest. Like it's still creating some slides. But I had a really long meeting and the customer wanted options. Hey, we talked about a lot of stuff. Can you tell me what my options are based on all the things that we talked about? Sure. Let me take the transcript and shove it into the PowerPoint agent and make a deck for you. And so that's running right now. I like it a lot. It's very graphical. Here's a screenshot. You can see, yep, bacon. Always got to have bacon in any of my demos. So that's a screenshot from my interface of actually making that deck. Except I did something kind of interesting. I have a customer I work with very frequently that I love very dearly, and I said, hey, go out to their website, find their branding information, grab all their colors, and apply that theme to the deck that you just made about bacon because it made it, some other color. And I'm like, no, 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 it needs to be specific. So I gave it the URL of their branding page. It went out and read and grabbed all their color codes and regenerated the deck in green and gold. So just saying.
Yeah, I think this is going to come in really handy. I mean, let's like just take a quick 10-second break and think about the last 6 months of us learning to prompt, us learning, getting more familiar with it. And I think, yes, there's still people that are learning, there's still people that are in the beginner stage, but a lot of us have really gotten good at being descriptive. And now we built up this muscle and grabbing that same muscle and now and throwing it into agent mode where inside of PowerPoint or Word, I can create some really, really cool stuff. And still leverage other documents, point to other documents that I might have within my graph. I think that is gonna really, really change things in the way that we create some of this content.
Yeah. Not in today's presentation, but I had a little internal project that I needed to create some content for, and I picked SharePoint as the way that I wanted to make all that content available because I had some videos I had to integrate, and the audience was pretty broad. There's a new SharePoint Pages agent, Carlos. Have you seen that? It's just like this, except instead of creating a Word document, I pointed it at the SharePoint site and I said, here's what I want you to make a page about. Go
Yeah.
make a page. And it made a page. And then it gave me a link, took me to the page.
Yeah.
I still had to go through the same, like, do you approve or reject this creation? And yep, I approve. And then I made my manual edits and I made an entire SharePoint site in like an afternoon. Uh, I had a lot of
I
fun.
I saw this when it came out. I got really really excited because it was super cool, and then it was a rabbit hole I wasn't quite ready to jump fully into. And then I started thinking of all the SharePoint admins that are going to be calling us about this. So I had to hit pause on that one. But yeah, this the concept of creating SharePoint pages and even SharePoint sites with Copilot based off of descriptions is insane.
I mean, it's content, right? This is content creation. That's one of the big check marks that AI helps facilitate and solve for is help me get something created. I don't want to create it from scratch. Give me something to start from. So pretty cool. All right, the last one for what's new is kind of a doozy. Okay, buckle up. A lot of the things that we talked about so far, agent mode, the office agents, and that very first bullet point, Copilot chat users. So these are the users that get the Copilot starter that comes with M365. In Outlook, we'll soon have the ability to chat with Copilot about their entire mailbox. So their whole calendar and meetings. So today, the behavior is I can talk to Copilot in Outlook about the email that I'm currently looking at, but I can't ask it about email from yesterday or, calendar appointments for tomorrow. I have to be looking at the email that I want to chat with. This change is saying that everybody will soon be able to say, hey, Copilot, what's on my calendar for tomorrow? Anything I should be aware of? And give me a table and help me get ready for it, or give me some notes. Uh, Outlook, I think by far is the number one biggest place that Copilot can help people save time. And so making this available to everybody is pretty awesome. So I am super stoked about this. This is going to really change things. And the fact that it says and meetings and the things that come from meetings, like recordings and stuff like that, means that a lot of folks are going to be able to do a lot of really powerful things in Outlook. So I'm excited about that. But the slide's also saying agent mode. So all the stuff we just talked about with agent mode and those cool new Anthropic powered office agents, those are all coming to Copilot chat users as well. So I want you to think about your organization. I want you to think in your mind, how many people are here? Like how many, I heard a customer say this. I thought it was kind of weird. Carlos, you tell me what you think. How many belly buttons are there? Does that make you feel weird? Because it made me feel weird when they said it, but I was like,
I,
I've never heard
I
it,
have
heard it like
I
that.
have one, but I'm not an expert, and now I'm starting to second guess myself.
Well, they meant like humans in your organization. How many belly buttons are there? And so think about that and come up with that number, and then realize that this change will affect that many people in your organization. Basically, it will affect all of them. So this is a pretty massive update. This is going to empower people with a ton of AI superpowers, and with great AI superpowers comes great responsibility. A big responsibility will be on folks to be taught, right? What can I do with this? So if you have trainers, change management, those folks are going to be busy because this is a big deal. Pretty big deal.
Hey, Dwayne,
All right.
agent mode, is that just an M365 Copilot licensed feature?
Not according to this slide. Yeah. Now the rollout window for this, let's be honest, it's big. in the admin center, the message center post for this says that the rollout is between January and March. So it's it's an entire quarter. And so I believe the rollout could start anywhere in that time frame as things are finalized, changes are made. But yes, this is coming, and this is going to be a big deal. This might be, I know it's early. We're only a few days into 2026, and it's hard to predict the future with AI because it changes so fast. But this is probably going to be one of the biggest changes that you all are going to work with this year, I would imagine. Only because of the scale of how many people are impacted by this. All right. That was it for what's new. Carlos, Darren, Lindsay, anybody got anything else they want to tack on to that?
Not
Did
on the
Amy make it
woods.
back from the eye doctor?
Amy has not made it back. Dwayne, Darren is here. So Darren is definitely on. I just want to bring it up where there's always confusion when you're looking at this image from an agent mode perspective, or even just I'm just going to call it the Copilot sidebar. And there's always confusion because a lot of people are starting to see this. It's rolling out. They have access to this and to the sidebar, to the ability to go and query against the information or ask Copilot a specific question, and that might be leveraging web search. And people think instantly, oh, I have M365 Copilot. I have the full blown license. So I just wanted to make sure everybody kind of understood, like, there is a difference here between having a full-blown M365 Copilot license and the people that do not have a license, right? It's still awesome if you don't have the license, you have Copilot chat, you can go and ask questions against whatever content might be showing if you're using, Word Online or whatever it might be. But M365 Copilot will be leveraging Work IQ. It will be leveraging the graph. It will be making sure that it understands everything around you and everything that you have access to, respects all the permissions and such. So it's a lot more powerful. And I'm just bringing this up because sometimes it's hard to explain. It's hard to, like, people think I'm good, and then they'll see a video or they'll see something on YouTube or a commercial, and they're like, why don't I have that? Why is mine not working? So just understanding where you are, what you're using, what your strategy is. I saw some great posts over here. There's some people are deciding who should have an M365 Copilot license, who's good with Copilot chat and such. So as long as you kind of understand, we're trying to make things look the same. It's not so much to confuse people. I think it's more like to make things simpler from the experience, right? Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. So is there an easy way? This is a great question. Natalie says, is there an easy way to explain what's free, what's not? Natalie, that's a whole call.
Yeah. There are definitely things that the paid license brings, of course, that the free one does not. I'm going to rattle off a few. Researcher and analyst. So the free version does not have access to those deep reasoning agents. There are times when I just started off the call talking about how much fun GPT 5.2 is with thinking deeper, but that is not analyst or researcher level reasoning. Uh, Grounding an agent on a SharePoint site or M365 data sources. That's still something that would require a license or some sort of pay-as-you-go model set up so that people could be able to do that. So yeah, there are a lot of things still, and I'm sure that as this matures and rolls out, we will have updated licensing, placemats or whatever they're called now, to kind of help clarify that. But I hope anybody that's been in the AI space for a little while now, Copilot has been available. Oh, we're about to hit an anniversary. I just thought about that. Yeah, in like 6 days. Copilot will have been available in education for 2 years. In I think 6 days, 6 or 7 days, somewhere in there. Um, in 2 years, I feel like we've experienced approximately 2 million changes, somewhere in that neighborhood. So yeah, just hopefully everybody's accustomed to the fact that this is being updated quickly, rapidly, and all the time. So we'll get you a comparison chart once we have an updated one. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. That's a great segue. If you see what Joe created and dropped in the chat, we're going to talk about probably the tool that he used to make that, if I had to guess. So we're going to go from cave drawings and we're going to lead you out into the oasis there, where you're going to see Copilot have the new create module. So, Carlos, you drew up some instructions in here. Did you want to talk a little bit about what you got going on here?
Yeah. So before the instructions, this was part of last month's one of the last month's slide in Club Copilot, which is it's just a good time with the holidays and everybody kind of taking some time off. In case, and this was a great suggestion by Amy, in case you wanted to create some type of holiday card or a sticker or something. We wanted everybody to kind of go in there and play with Create a little bit. If you had access and you can play with this, definitely go and do that. So we put up some things that I know that Amy was working on, and then if you go to that next slide there, I wanted to put just some simple. I know sometimes we just show it and it's very very easy, but wanted to put some simple steps. This is how simple this is, right? So obviously Copilot is pretty much everywhere. So it's inside Teams, it's inside of Edge, you can go to m365copilot.com. That tends to be my personal favorite. I just go straight there. And on that left-hand side, you're going to see an option that says create. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to dive in a little bit deeper into all the things that you can do with create. Just all you have to do is select it, and then you're going to see a bunch of different options. Now, I'm going to pass it back to Dwayne, but I'm going to say one thing. Creating takes some time, right? So I think like anything else, if we go back to, let's just go back to like the first time that we played with the AI. Hopefully it wasn't this week. But many, many months ago, a couple years ago in there, and we remember how long we had to wait, right? For something to kind of go and create it. So when you're creating images, hey, that's actually gotten pretty good. It's gotten much, much faster than before. But we're going to talk a little bit about creating videos or creating a couple of other things. If I'm giving it some crazy, crazy prompt that's very, very detailed, I'm going to have to be a little bit patient here. But we'll talk a little bit about this of what it means to create images, PowerPoints, Word, Docs, Excel, and a bunch of other things that we'll get to in just a second.
Yeah, I dropped a little nerd info in the chat there around some updates to the image model that you'll find in your admin message center if you are an admin that wants to do that. All right, I'm gonna take the screen share and I'm gonna move over to my lab environment. So hang on one second. Come on a ride with me. All right, hopefully that's coming through nice and clear. Like Carlos said, lots of different ways you can get to Copilot. The easiest way is to just go to office.com. So in my case, I open up a new browser tab. It just takes me straight there. You can go to office.com directly. If you want, it will do the same thing. So if you want to do this in your browser, and I didn't warn you all, but I got a follow along that I would like for you to do with me. So there's a lot of you on the call, and if I can get all of you to do this, I think we're going to laugh. Okay. I think we're going to have some laughs. So get to Copilot either in the web browser or use the dedicated Office app or desktop app rather. I like to do that too. That's probably my favorite way of getting to Copilot right now is just using the desktop application. Once you get there, you're going to see, like Carlos said, over on the left-hand side, we have the Create module. Now, a couple months ago, Max announced, I think it was Max, announced that it's available for education. So it hasn't been there. It's been there for a while, but it hasn't done the same thing that I'm about to show you until very recently. It used to only allow you to create effectively Office documents using templates. It didn't actually have any AI to actually let you create something brand new that hadn't existed until now. So if everybody has made it this far, I hope that you are following along. You'll get to where it says create an image. So we're going to go on a tour of the interface really quickly. You have some options, these little pills across the top. So if you're like, hey, I want to create a video, well, that facilitates, Clipchamp creation of a video effectively. I want to create an image. I want to create an infographic. Got a lot of educators out there that probably would love to be able to create a poster or an infographic really quickly, apply a theme to it, make it look like Minecraft or whatever. This is an option. This is a tool in their toolbox now. You also have some options down here at the bottom. If you have some content, maybe you've got a logo or you've got a reference image that you want to use. Well, you could attach that to your prompt, like grounding. You can choose from some predefined styles. You can use branding, which we'll talk about a little bit. And you can also determine kind of the aspect ratio. So I'll click on that so you can see this. You've got square, portrait, and landscape that you can use. So, and the resolutions are predefined in that. So pick one of those and you're off to the races with what you're going to make. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, there's some pretty interesting things down here. And I like these because when you hover your mouse over it, it shows you a prompt. And this is really important because how you word your prompt matters. And with image creation, it really matters because it's going to determine how your photo or your image comes out, like in a pretty big way. So hover over some of these, and if you are a trainer or you're working with educators, if you're an educator yourself, tell your friends about like, hey, if you want to get an idea of how to do an image prompt, hover over those and even start with this prompt, and then it'll copy it up into the box for you. So like this one right here is pretty interesting to me. So we're going to create an icon. I could throw that up in the prompt box, or how to perform the Heimlich, I guess. So I'm going to give you all a prompt. We drop it in the chat. And Carlos, do you remember Mad Libs?
I do. It was great.
It's kind of like that. Some of you may have seen me do this before because I've used this before. But I just threw a prompt in the chat, and I'm going to fill it in on my screen here so that if anybody's online watching a recording, they can follow along. So this is a really wordy image prompt. So create a cinematic photorealistic image of a farmer. I don't know, gator, driving what color tractor should it be? I've actually had people, change this to like spaceship and race car and all kinds of stuff. So we're just going to go with a green tractor.
Green.
Okay, what are they? What kind of crop? It's a farmer, right? So what kind of crop is he cultivating?
Corn.
Corn. Okay. So in a cornfield, the perspective is from the side. We got to fill in the gator again. So the gator has the classic farmer, like they got a long, like little stalk of wheat in their mouth. A rustic water tower in the background, and it says we're gonna throw Flub Copilot on it. And I'm hard inner, J.J. Abrams Star Trek. Throw some lens flare in there. So we're gonna hit create. And like Carlos said, this is always risky trying to do this live with a whole bunch of people on the call at the same time, because it might take a second. So I'm going to stall and talk about the UI that you see over on the side. You'll notice on the right-hand side, as the image is being drawn, I have a tools menu. I have a transform option, which is highlighted directly. So that's going to allow me to do some follow-up prompts. I'm going to have editing options. So for cropping, cropping or rotating. Oh, Prasad's was fast. Wow, Prasad's got fast Copilot today. That's nice. Um, I like the sheep. Oh, there's mine. Okay, it's working out pretty good. We've got text. We've got the ability to insert some more of your own media if you want to drop some things in there, because this does do layering. If you've done Photoshop or other image editors like that, you can layer on things on top. So yeah, everybody's kind of got the gist here. Take your thing that you created and drop it in the chat so everybody can see what you made. One little quirk with this that I think is kind of funny, Carlos, I've this has caught me before. If you hover your mouse over where it says copy image and click copy, see how it says copying and now it says copied? It will not let you paste the image until it has completed whatever it's got to do to copy the image to your clipboard. So I may or may not have on multiple occasions clicked that copy button and immediately tabbed over to a Teams chat and hit paste and hit enter and paste the wrong thing because it hadn't actually copied it to my clipboard and I just pasted whatever the last thing was that I did. Now, this is an AI generated image. So sometimes you notice things are a little different. I don't know why he's got a mirror pointing that direction. So in this case, I would just regenerate it. I would give it another go. So I might perform some instructions here and say, remove the mirror from the tractor. I don't even know why I need a mirror on a tractor. I could just turn around. So this is my follow-up prompt. This is going to modify the image. So we'll click update and it's going to regenerate it again for me. What in the world did Greg make? He's making infographics. He's skipping ahead. Oh, I love the Beagle.
Yeah, no, there's some great ones here. I gotta say, the hippo is my favorite. It has to be my favorite.
I don't know, man. Brutus on a tractor. If Heather were here,
And
he'd be losing it. Oh, I think that's fun.
And the moose.
So we're going to let that go, and I'm going to pull it up in my browser so I can actually run two at a time, because yes, you can do that too. All right, we're going to pivot over to design an infographic. So an infographic is going to be informative, right? We're going to teach somebody something. So we made a cool picture of an alligator or a hippo or whatever on a tractor. That's awesome, but does that educate folks? So I'm going to give you another prompt on making an infographic. So I'm going to throw this one. Pretty wordy, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's a visualization of the water cycle. This is going to create something that I could use as materials if it's accurate, right? So always verify that what it created is accurate. But this is going to have some descriptions on it. Our other one had text in it because we purposefully included that in our prompt. An infographic is going to imply that there should be text in it because you're going to teach somebody how to do something and you're probably going to need to describe that something. So it's steps or something like that. So you can already see I've got the water cycle. And if anybody remembers AI image generation from like last year, getting that thing to spell was really rough because it didn't know how to spell. It only knew how to draw. And so it didn't really have an understanding of human language. It was trying to take your text and draw it, not actually type it. This is a little bit different. So this has a lot more accuracy. So I'm going to see real quick if there's any errors, because one of the things that's frustrating is what if this infographic goes and you're like, oh, that's so good. And then you're like, oh no, it spelled that one single thing wrong. That's rough. And so if you're like, it's spelled, I haven't found anything yet. Do you see anything, Carlos, that's wrong?
Looks pretty good.
Well, it figures that the one time I would want it to mess up, it would not. That's great. I'm happy with that. But there's this thing down here. This is relatively new. Make your text editable. So this will perform OCR, optical character recognition, on your picture, and it will pull out the text so that you can change it. So you're going to see when I click that, I get my cotton candy animation here. It's going to re-render this picture. I can grab the text out of it and I can actually make changes to it. So if I wanted to reword something or change something, I'm going to be able to do that here in a few minutes.
Hey, Dwayne,
Uh,
I want to reverse engineer your thinking here. Um, this is a pretty intense prompt. I'm going to say this is not for beginners over here. This is pretty awesome. I'm curious, did you steal and edit what you already saw from the current infographics, or did you go to Copilot and prompt your way through a great prompt that could be used in this module?
so either one of two things happened. I honestly cannot remember which. Either A, I stole the prompt from Joe Gasper, or B, I asked Copilot to help me generate a prompt, which is pretty much the same thing as stealing it from Joe Gasper. I'm pretty sure he's AI. So one of those two things happened. No, I did not handwrite that prompt, if that's what you're asking. But asking Copilot to help you generate a prompt first, especially GPT 4.2 thinking deeper, can yield some pretty cool stuff. Like I was goofing around with it. Let's see. So tell me what you think, Carlos. This is my Copilot generated logo for my fictitious ed tech consultation firm called Eduane. I thought
You
it
know,
did
I
pretty
would
good.
it's good. I would remove the next personally, right? But I
What's
think it's
next,
good.
though? That's where we're headed. We're futuristic. We're forward thinking.
It's implied.
So Copilot helped me generate the prompt that yielded that logo. I didn't come up with that logo on my own for sure. My mirror is gone now. So remember, my change was remove the mirror from the tractor. No more mirror. Boom, problem solved. Let's go back over and check our infographic. So now I have extracted text and I can actually edit this stuff right here. So if I wanted to change this, I can delete text. I just ruined it. There's some back buttons, so I could undo this change up here if I wanted to. But now all of this text is now a highlightable text box that I can grab and I can play with. So that is a very nice feature that I love a lot. I'm going to show a couple more because I know we're coming down to the wire here because it's taking a minute. Let's start over again. I want to show you branding. So this particular user here, Nestor, he has an M365 Copilot license. And up until yesterday, I didn't see branding for anybody who didn't have a Copilot license. But Beverly here does not have a Copilot license. And Beverly can go and create a brand kit. So from the More menu under brand kits, she can pick new brand kit and she can make a branding kit. Well, I deleted the kit, so I don't know where it went, but she can create a new brand kit and we'll just call it, demo kit. I was playing around with it earlier. I probably broke something, where you can include logos, a color palette, your own particular fonts, images, templates, all kinds of stuff. So I got a couple of prompts that we're going to try that rely on a brand kit. So again, Copilot generated prompt. Eduane is my fictitious ed tech consultation company. We're going to go to brand and color, and we're going to use the Eduane brand and then click create. So this is going to shortcut a lot of things for me. Every single one of you at a school has branding guidelines. You've probably got templates out there. You've got colors that complement one another. You probably got fonts that you're supposed to use. If you make stuff, you could make sure the stuff that you make is on brand by creating a brand kit. This saves you a lot of time. I don't have to explain the color palette every single time I want to do it in a prompt. You can have the brand kit do it for you. And while that generates, we'll switch back over to Beverly so you can see some of the things that you can use. So if you have a bunch of logos, you can include those. If you have imagery, maybe stock photos of your campus or something like that, you can include those. Office templates, you can include templates for Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, and designer templates, which is kind of what we're doing over for the images. And then something called brand voice. This is pretty interesting because you can take your communications and you can kind of distill it down. Notice it says 0 out of 1,000. So you have a 1,000 character limit here for your voice. But if you talk a certain way or you use some terminology, maybe refer to your institution a very specific way, you can include that in your brand voice here. And then when a user selects that template, click, it just applies it all to the image that they are creating. So a lot of fun. So here's my infographic that I created, the next step playbook for AI adoption. Um, this used the colors that came from my brand kit. So you can kind of see that right here. There's some of those colors and there's all those colors right there. I also have a voice in there, so I'll show you my brand kit. So from more, under brand kits, you can see your brand kit and you can click edit. Here's all the colors that were a part of my brand kit. I've got some fonts in here for headings. You can add more fonts and use them for, subtitles and the body of the messages that you make or images that you make. I didn't have any images to add, but I did make a brand voice. And yes, sir, Carlos, I did not steal this one from Joe. I asked Copilot to help me create my brand voice.
Hey, Dwayne, I
So
know we're running tight on time
yes,
here. I, please share that brand voice. I'm curious if you're willing to share that voice in the chat.
sure.
Some great questions were coming up over here around kind of like the location of this the brand kit, right? And this information. And I know I had some of the same questions the first time I saw this, which was, is this living inside of Copilot? Is this living somewhere else? I know that as an M365 admin, I can go in there and I can basically say, hey, here's our PowerPoint templates for the school business and for the school of education. I can have different branding kits from that perspective, but inside of Copilot, um, is this more like I'm creating my own personal brand or what it is that I want to do?
Yeah, because we're running out of time, I am rapidly dropping links in the chat around how to create brand kits, how to designate brand managers that can make brand kits that are marked as official that show up for everybody. Yeah, there's some things to think about and consider as far as how you would do that, or users can just make their own brand kit. But if you have like official ones, like they have a stamp of approval from the marketing team, then you need to look at brand managers and how you would deploy those. So I dropped in the documentation. Everybody remember, if it says support.microsoft.com, it is probably a end user article. If it says learn.microsoft.com, it is a more technical article.
Awesome. Thanks, Dwayne. All right,
Yep.
so as we wrap it up over here, we want to just let everybody know about what's coming up. So everybody's always asking for access to the slides in there. So this is a hyperlink that should work. We should probably add that hyperlink to the slides to the chat as well. And make sure that you guys download it if you want to. It's just going to be a PDF on everything, and then kind of prep you for the next one. We don't have a club name. This is what happens when we don't have Heather, guys. We fall apart. There's the glue to Club Copilot. But we have our next meeting, which is going to be January 27th at, I believe it's at 4 p.m. And this is going to be an ask and answers. So once again, not technical support, but it's usually a really, really good session. I know we didn't have one in December because of the holidays. And we're going to bring it back over here for January where you can go and ask them questions. And we'll try our absolute best. We bring the whole crew to answer those questions. And then February 10th, we're going to have our next Listen and Learn Club Copilot, just like this. And I'm pretty excited because I know we have more cool things coming out now in February and March timeframe. All right, everyone. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for your amazing chat experience over here, your chat comments. Dwayne, you're a rock star. Darren, I know you're holding the fort. So thanks, everyone. Lindsay, Amy, Heather somewhere, Max somewhere.
There's a lot of names now. I love it.
All right, guys. It takes a village.
Yeah.
Have a great day. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Awesome, everybody. See ya.